Miss Marshall needs you?
I'm launching the live stream right now.
You're doing it now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect. Alright, we're just going to get started in a second. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're just going to get started in about another 1 or 2 minutes, just making sure everyone has enough time to funnel in. I see that we currently have a bunch of people already in the lobby watching the demo. That is great. Okay, all right, I think now's a good time to get started. So, hello, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy afternoons to go and view this demo. My name is Sam. I run the IT department at Case Medical, and also I lead the development team for CaseTrak360. CaseTrak is a really fantastic program, definitely cutting edge as far as instrument tracking and processing goes. We have a brief slideshow to go through, and then we're going to do a live demo of CaseTrak360 itself. So I'm going to get started with our slideshow right now. So the objectives. It's going to be an introduction to our CaseTrak360 software. I'm going to go through our features, advantages, and benefits. We're going to learn about our powerful tools for management and administration. We're going to discover how you can go paperless with our cloud-based ISO certified software. CaseTrak360 saves time, money, and it is sustainable. And we're also going to help to understand the cost savings and the advantages of a scalable system. And then we're going to go through our live demo of the software itself. So let's start with the major benefits of CaseTrak360. So the first one, the most obvious one, is real-time tracking. CaseTrak360 tracks in real time all sets and items that are in a facility. Everything gets its own QR code. Let's see, here's my little training set that I'm going to be going through today. It has a barcode on it as if your containers and packaging would at your facility. And CaseTrak is going to be able to manage and track exactly everywhere that those sets go in your facility. The next biggest point is efficient processing. Now that really comes down to our prep and pack module, because it puts all of the information and counting software right in front of your SBD employees in the prep and pack department. Gone are the days of having to flip through thick textbooks to read IFUs and get pictures and make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. And now it's all directly in front of your staff, so they have instant access to that information. So it'll massively cut down, especially in prep and pack, with how long it takes to repackage sets and get them out there. That's actually a really exciting feature of CaseTrak that we're going to get into. Next is inventory management. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm just hitting all of our major points. Inventory management. CaseTrak360 has a built-in inventory management module. What that means is it'll track every storage location that you ask it to. That could be something as big as a room or something as small as a bin on a shelf in a closet in a room. It gets very, very granular, and it lets you track any set or item inside all of locations, so you know exactly where that thing is. Next, it's very easy to use. You'll see as we start and we go through this demo, CaseTrak360 is very intuitive. There's color-coded modules. It's built so it doesn't look like it came out of like the early 2000s, and it doesn't look like it's an Excel program. It's a modern, very intuitive program, and it's very easy to use. Also, Case Medical, the company that makes CaseTrak360, we will provide you with all of your training. We have a great online training center with interactive manuals and tutorial videos, and a training kit, which is actually, this is what I printed out. So you and your employees can train in real time on the system with our training kit using our training videos and manuals, and you can actually get your staff up and running very, very quickly. We also offer quizzes, and so you know that your staff is competent and can use the software. Now, the last point that I want to touch on is widely integrated. CaseTrak360 is designed to run on all internet-capable devices, wired or wirelessly. Now, CaseTrak360 runs on AWS. That's Amazon Cloud Services. So what that means is all of the thinking, everywhere this program lives is in the cloud. So you actually don't need powerful or expensive hardware to run this. Pretty much anything with an internet browser and a screen can run this. We have CaseTrak360 tested on Windows computers. We have it tested on Macs. We have it tested on Android tablets. We have it tested on little $30 Raspberry Pis. They're those little tiny, micro PCs that are hooked up to monitors. It runs. I mean, CaseTrak360, it'll practically run on a potato if you wanted to. It's a very versatile software, wired or wireless. If you have an SPD where maybe the building is older and you don't have a big IT infrastructure down there, it's not hard to get it set up. You could just put a wireless router in the middle of your SPD and have wireless things that go to it, and CaseTrak360 can run on those things no problem. So wired, wireless, doesn't matter. CaseTrak does it on any device, expensive or cheap. So, all right, next. A 360-degree approach for instrument processing. So, like I was saying before, it's flexible and it's easy to use software with real-time tracking. You can utilize the full software for each step in the process or utilize any one module and build from there. I just want to touch on that for a second. So in this demo, we're going to go through each module, our decontamination module, our prep and pack module, our sterilization module, storage, case guard staging, and operating room. Now, very likely your facilities aren't going to be using all of these modules. We're in touch with hospitals by us where only the SPD is interested in our decontam, prep and pack, and sterilization modules, basically only for the SPD. And then once sets and instruments get processed, they get handed off to the OR where they can get put into their whole storage universe. That's fine. We can tailor CaseTrak however you want. If you only want the SPD modules, that's cool. If you want the storage modules, that's fine. If you want to do the whole cycle with the operating room module included, we can make that happen for you too. It's a very, very customizable program, and we can tune it to work with exactly how your facility is set up. So all-inclusive and stand alone, that's referring to our operating room module. We're also aware that a lot of places, you guys have ORs that run their own software. They're probably using Epic or something similar. So in that case, you don't have to use our full OR suite. If you want to use our full OR module that has open and close counts and tracking with the patient, well, not with the patient, with the procedure number, because we don't store any patient info. You can do that. Or if you just want something simple that says, hey, this set has arrived in this operating room, the OR's got it, and their own system's going to do whatever. That's also fine. That's actually the module that we're going to cover in our demo today. It's called the OR bypass module. It's very simple, so nobody in your OR gets upset that you're bringing in a brand new system that is a copy of what they already have, because we can work with your ORs and what they have already. Next is add photos, video instructions from our instrument glossary. This is great. I'm going to just talk very quickly about this. The program allows you to upload your own photos and IFUs if you have them. It also links, we have our own embedded instrument glossary with pictures and items, and that is very, very helpful, like I was saying, for prep and pack, where you can pull up the pictures and images of items directly as you're looking at them to count them. Next is alerts, reports, and real-time tracking and tracing to the OR room without linking to patient information, meeting HIPAA requirements. Now, I just want to point that out really quickly. CaseTrak360 does not track patient information whatsoever. There's no HIPAA data stored in it at all, zero. What it does is all of the actions and procedures, they're tied to reference numbers, and then you can have your own database that links those reference numbers to HIPAA data in your own system. So that actually makes CaseTrak360 very, very safe and very, very easy to use, because there's no red tape. You don't have to worry about patient data potentially being exposed anywhere. It's just reference numbers and sets and data. CaseTrak360 only focuses on sets and items, and that is all. And to the point of reports and alerts, CaseTrak360 has them all, and you can run reports on pretty much everything from employee performance to set utilization to machine testing. You can even read digitized machine printouts. It's really fantastic. All right, powerful tools for managers and administrators. We already went through a lot of this, so I'm just going to bounce through it very quickly. So you could use CaseTrak360 obviously to manage the demands of the modern sterile processing department. You can assign roles, permissions, track training, and certifications. CaseTrak360 does have a competency module where you can track all of the trainings and certs of your staff very easily. Real-time tracking management, we already covered that. A detailed history of every set and item. CaseTrak360 does that. So you can pull up a set in our reporting module and see every place that set has ever been, who touched it, where it went after. Very, very great, especially for infection prevention and response. There's a full history of everything. You can manage storage locations. There's robust search tools. We'll actually be going through a few of them in the demo. There's specific instructions for every phase of processing. You can either put them in yourself or link to one source. You can improve communication between clinical and non-clinical users. There is a built-in chat feature of CaseTrak360 where people can message each other back and forth. It's very nice. And link to OR schedule for efficiency and traceability. So CaseTrak360, actually, the program maintains its own OR schedule, and we're going to go over that now. And you can either use it for your OR schedule, or you can use it as a duplicate to give redundancy and backup to whatever OR schedule you might already be using. It's fantastic either way. All right, all-inclusive OR module. We kind of touched on this already. So we have a case card staging module where when cases are picked and information needs to be sent down from the OR to the SBD to be picked, we have a module that does that. We track all of the preference cards in your system. You don't even have to put them in. If you do decide to use CaseTrak360, you send all of your information to us. We put it into the system that we build for you, and all you have to do is train your staff and flip it on. And that is it. And we also have an OR room locator for transfer and procedure tracking. It's a very great module that we're going to go through. Optional modules, we do have them. This one's very popular, the loaner module. Don't you hate tracking loaners for your facility? So does everybody else. And especially if you encounter late fees, if you don't get them back to their vendor fast enough. You also have to keep records on their SBD cycle when they're used. This tracks all of it, and it also tracks the vendors. So you can use the loaner module to schedule when loaners are going to come in. It has a webcam functionality, so you can take pictures of the loaners before and after they leave. So if the facility after you dings it and they try and come back to you to pay for it to be fixed, you can open up CaseTrak360 and say, wait a minute, here's our inspection report of this loaner. Here's the pictures. This is clearly not the case, and we're not going to pay that because we didn't break it. We have an endoscopy module. This is going to be covered in later demos. So endoscopes, one of the most dangerous instruments in a facility. Very complicated. Hundreds of reprocessing steps. Very intricate. If you miss one, you risk transferring infections to patients. CaseTrak360 tries to mitigate that with our endoscopy module. That's real-time tracking of all endoscopes and also step-by-step processing instructions with quality assurance steps so supervisors and managers can come in and check that things are actually processed properly. The goal of this is obviously to massively improve infection prevention and response, and also improve how endoscopes are processed at your facility. Obviously, they're very expensive, and the best care that you can give them, all the better. Item module, items are tracked in CaseTrak360. This just relates to things like pumps, mobile equipment like for a patient's room, that sort of thing. And the tissue module is built to track things like implants. All right, CaseTrak360 is very cost effective. So we offer a bunch of different plans for it. You can either purchase a full license for it, or you can pay with a software as a service model. So you pay us monthly for X amount of license seats, and we will then give you the system that way. So that actually makes it very scalable, and it can grow or shrink with your facility's needs, so you can save money and build out the system as much or as little as you want. And it's also all-inclusive, so there's no upcharges or upgrades for service. on our monthly plan. We take care of all of your support. You don't have to worry about any sort of IT support or anything. We take care of all of that. There's a multi-tiered help desk built right into our CaseTrak360 website, and if you do choose to use this program, you'll get a login. And that help desk will link you directly to myself and our IT team so we can help you with anything and everything. Also, the training portal's on there too. There's also a super admin module included for IDNs and healthcare networks. So what if you are someone who manages multiple SBDs at multiple locations? Or what if, because of the pandemic, you're working from home, but you still need to manage your SBD department? I mean, you're probably going to be in the building, but if you want to work from home some days, how are you going to do it? So, like I said, CaseTrak360 runs in the cloud. There's a super admin dashboard where you can log into and see all of the facilities that you managed, go into each one of their versions of CaseTrak360 so you can view and manage it as if you were there. It's super powerful, and it will save you the trouble of jumping around to different locations and also keeping track of what you need to keep track with. We're also on contract with Health Trust. That also gives our Health Trust members extra savings and support. So, meeting the highest standards of software security. We're almost at our demo. CaseTrak360 is ISO 27001 certified. We actually just had our recertification audit this week. It's going to be our 4th year of having this. That basically means we are developed to the highest standards for security and development. This software is built right. This software is safe. It's built in a very safe environment, and you can trust this standard and our software to give you a really solid, dependable, and safe product. We also utilize AWS. Like I was saying, it's based on AWS, so it's in the cloud. Yeah, I think the uptime is 99.9999%. Basically, if AWS goes down, the world is ending. So as long as your facility has internet, you will have CaseTrak360. And because it's separated from your network, I don't know if anybody remembers about a year and 6 months ago, Hackensack Meridian Health, they had that big ransomware issue where all of their local servers were taken out. CaseTrak360 is a separate service on a separate network on AWS behind numerous firewalls. If they had CaseTrak360, they wouldn't have had to have canceled their surgeries. CaseTrak360 would have ran. They could have still tracked instruments. They could have still scheduled things. So it's also great for redundancy and uptime for your facility as a whole. So you can also reduce transactions utilizing CaseTrak's unique 2D barcode. Basically, that means everything in CaseTrak360 gets a barcode you can print out. It also links up with the barcodes that we engrave on our case medical containers, and that just makes your life easier because you can use those codes to track everything. There's also detailed paperless reports available at no extra cost. Like I was saying, reports on anything and everything. And patient tracking with security. What that means is, like I was saying, there's no HIPAA data. It's a very secure program living on AWS. There's nothing to worry about. So now we're going to get into our live demo. So I'm going to minimize my PowerPoint, and I'm going to go into my demo. Also open my chat so I can see if anyone's talking to me. Okay. All right, let me full screen this. Okay, so this is the login page or the main menu page of CaseTrak360. This is what you'll see when you log in for the first time ever. You'll see that the 360 cycle is right here. All the modules are color-coded, and the idea is that it follows the exact workflow of your SBD department through your OR and then back again. So I have my major basic set here, and inside of it are all of my instruments. It's cut out from my training kit. So let's pretend that this just came down from a surgery, and now it has to go to decontam to get processed. I'm going to click into my decontam module, and this is what it looks like. Right now it's blank, but it'll get populated once I scan things through. This is a fresh and clean demo site for this presentation. So all I got to do to scan my major basic set in is I take my scanner and I scan my QR code. Try to do it so it gets to the camera. And now my major basic set has entered decontam. So you'll see a lot of information right away. We have the set name, the set instance ID. That's basically this barcode that I just scanned. Its lot number. This is all sample information, so none of this is actually real. The date and time that it was received into decontamination. And also we have quick instructions for our SPD techs for any special cleaning that this might need. So I see that it needs to be pre-cleaned, manually cleaned. It doesn't need to go in the ultrasonic, but it does need to go in the regular washer like everything else does. So to start our pre and manual cleaning process, we hit the process button, and that takes us to our processing page. So here we have the sets content sheet where there's a quick count of everything that's supposed to be in there. Obviously, no one's counting anything in decontam. This just helps to keep things organized so people can see what they're supposed to see in the set. Now, this is obviously very short for a major basic set. The data that we got this from, there was like hundreds of instruments, lots of instruments that are in sets like this. For the purposes of this demo, to keep everything intelligible, I shortened it very much. Just a smattering of things so we could do the demo and keep things clean. So, also on this page here, we have instructions. These are instructions that your people can paste in. So if there's anything special that this set needs, you can paste them all in when you make the set. So me, as an SPD tech, I'm reading this in read-only, so I can go through all of these steps as I'm cleaning the set. Is there any automatic cleaning needed? That's covered here. And then once I'm done, I click Complete. And that'll take me back to this queue here, but also the status has been changed. So now it has one. And the icon is basically processing to get put into a machine for cleaning. And to do that, we go to the Begin Load page. It asks you if you're sure. We say yes. And first, it's going to ask you to scan the machine. Here's my machine. It is my washer. Just like before, I have my little barcode reader, and I'm going to boop the QR code. That's going to select my machine, and it gives us some information right here. It gives it its ID, the type, its location ID that corresponds to whatever barcode you put on the area that it's in, when the machine was brought into service, its status, the date and time that it was last tested, and the user ID of the person who did it last. And just to touch on that very quickly, CaseTrak360 does support recording tests for washers and sterilizers, pretty much any machine in your SPD. And if it fails, CaseTrak360 will prevent your techs from using them. So if this machine failed its test and was set to inactive, and I tried to scan it to put my little major basic set into the load, it would say, can't do it because it failed its test. And it would only let me back in to use it if it has a past test going forward, or if an SPD manager overrides it. Either way, it's a very flexible system. So now with that done, I'm now going to scan my major basic set. So I'm going to scan it right here. And now my major basic set is in my machine. Yes, now it's getting processed. Now that it's done, I'm going to hit Begin Load to tell CaseTrak360 that I am now processing my set. And on the decontamination queue, the status is now a washing machine because it is now in the washing machine, getting ready to transition from the dirty side of the SPD into the clean side for prep and pack. And that's pretty much it. So how this queue is organized is whenever a new set gets scanned in, all of the unprocessed sets are grouped at the top. Things that are undergoing manual cleaning or things that are currently being cleaned, they show up towards the bottom because they're getting cleaned, it's fine. And as soon as you scan them into prep and pack, they get taken out of this queue. And if we go to Locate Set, which is a button that's on every page, we see here's our major basic set. And look, it's in decontamination, and it's in the machine. There's a couple major basic sets in here that we have for demo purposes. And as a manager at your at your facility, you can see exactly where everything is. You can search for sets based on name, or you can scan their little barcode and see exactly what everything is doing. So now let's go into Prep and Pack, the next module. So just like before, I'm going to take out my Major Basic set and I'll walk it over to the clean side of my little SBD. And now it's in Prep and Pack, and I'm going to scan it in. So I have my scanner, just like before, scan it in. And receive. There we go. So now it is in the queue in Prep and Pack, and locate set would show that. So now I am a Prep and Pack tech. I am going to assemble the set. I do that by clicking the assembly button. That takes me to this blank page first, because Prep and Pack has a timer built in that tracks how fast or how slow your techs can put sets back together. If they do it too fast, there might be mistakes. If they do it too slow, well, they might need more training. It's just an extra tool that CaseTrak gives you so you can track your staff. I am ready to begin putting this set back together. My instruments aren't going to be neatly in here. They're going to be everywhere. So I'm going to click Begin Assembly. And okay, so CaseTrak360 has, this would normally be a webcam screen where you can take pictures of the set as you put it back together. You can also view previously captured set images. It's not showing up because the only webcam that I have is pointed at me, and computers can't share webcams. But in a future demo, and also the demo that you can view on our website, this feature is shown. But anyway, the meat of this is right here. This is the main part of the Prep and Pack page. So here is every item on our content sheet. So actually, it's kind of broken up. So everything to the left of select all, and these little check boxes here is from the content sheet. Everything to the right corresponds to the count sheet. Now, like I was saying, here's all of my instruments. I can click on any one of them to see their image instantly, or I can click their IFU. This one I uploaded from OneSource. Or if you don't want to upload IFUs for each of your instruments, we have a OneSource button that opens up a new window and takes you to this exact listing on OneSource itself. So like I was saying before, the days of your SBD techs having to thumb through thick books to get pictures and IFUs and how do I put this back together and where do I pack it, that's over now. That's done. Everything is right in front of their face. They can see it. They can count it. We have a QC section down here where managers can either approve or disapprove if it's turned on for that set. So if this was a very complicated set, you as an SBD manager could turn on QA check. So when your SBD tech finishes putting it back together, you can come over, say, yes, this set is put back together properly, scan in your badge into the system, and it will allow the set to move forward. Just an extra step that we offer you if you want to increase the accuracy of your counts. So if I have an item that I'm looking for, I could go through my images here. It looks like this. Oh, I could look through all of my instruments to find it. And let's say that I found it and I put it back in, and I'm expecting to have 4 of them. That's great. If I have all 4, I click it. If I don't and something is missing, I can say that I only, let's say 1 is missing, and that updates the count to 3. Where is it? If it's not critical, I could say it's not needed. If I have to replace it immediately, clicking replace will bring up a screen to show me any alternate items that I have in my facility with their storage location, so I could quickly swap it out to keep the set moving. That'll stay with the set for 1 full cycle. Then once it lands in decontam, the count sheet will revert back to default, and eventually you're going to have to, get this item. If it's filthy and it has to go back to be cleaned again, I could say return to decontamination. If I have to contact my supervisor or something, I could do that. If it's just missing, I could say it's missing. If it's going out for repair, let's say it's a scissor and the hinge is busted, I could click that. That'll also add it to a repair report where me, as the manager, I can then see, oh, this item is out for repair. And I could use CaseTrak360 to contact my vendor to get it fixed and actually track that single instrument all the way through that repair process, including when it's supposed to come back. It's really great. And then lastly, there is just a general reject button. So if something else that we can't foresee is wrong with this instrument, you can reject it. There's also a QC inspection drop down here where as you count the instruments, you can also QC them. So is it sharp? How is the integrity of the insulation, the cords, the clarity of the lenses? We try to cast a wide net, and we could also add or subtract options if you want. Is there any corrosion? Is it functioning? So if it needs to go out for repair, you can say it has to go out for repair because the integrity of the seals is broken, or maybe there's some corrosion on it, and CaseTrak will just take care of it. I'm gonna go ahead and say that that I do have everything, and I'm one of those really fast, well-seasoned SBD techs, and I could put sets back together in like 30 minutes, and I'm super fast. And if you do have those people, we have this select all option, and once you click it, CaseTrak360 will go down through every item on this list and say, yep, we got them all, and they're packed. I can then either print a label. If I want to replace the label that's on the side of the container, I could also print the content sheet with my included count if I want to. And just like I was saying before, you can capture and view images throughout the assembly process. So I don't have to do a QA check. I'm going to mark this as complete and hit save and exit. And that's going to take me back to my prep and pack queue to go through more sets. But because I only have one for this demo, the queue is now empty, and now this set, now packaged with all of my instruments, is now on its merry way over to sterilization to get put in the sterilizer. And that is where we're going next. Our sterilization module. Just like before, because CaseTrak is visually cohesive, like I've been saying, it looks the same. Now it's orange. So now you know that you're in sterilization without even having to look at it. Just like in Decontam, I have my set with my scannable QR code. I am going to scan it. This is like a mirror. There we go. I'm going to scan it. And now my major basic set is in the sterilization module. Just like in Decontam, we have quick bits of information. The set name, the set barcode, the lot number, the date and time it came into this module. Also to the left here, this is actually visible in every module. You can set things for turnaround, like if you need something quickly, and that turnaround has a 1, 2, 3 scale, with 3 being the most urgently needed and 1 being, yeah, we need it really quickly, but if there's something that's more urgently needed, then obviously do that first. It also tracks if it's a loaner. That also puts it higher up on the queue, and especially if it has a deadline that's fast approaching, so your techs can process it quickly and get it out the door. And it also tracks if there are implants. Very important for this module, because not only does it track the implants, it will have a pop-up reminder to inform your techs that, hey, this set, obviously there's not going to be one in Major Basic, but if this was like a hip set or something, like, hey, this set has an implant, you've got to put a BI with it when you go to sterilize it. And also CaseTrak tracks those BIs, and it tracks the results. And with sterilization, if any BI test fails, it'll automatically set that machine to offline, and will prevent your guys from scanning things into it until that issue is resolved. We also have quick instructions here. What sterilization type does it need? Steam, cycle, pre-vac, so that way your guys can group things together and make loads easier. We also have instructions that you can view quickly. So again, sterilization type steam, steam cycle pre-vac, temperature is 270. Here is the steam exposure time in minutes. 4 minutes, it's about the standard, and the dry time is only 8 minutes. Why? Because it's in a Case Medical Stereotype container, and our dry times are very fast. And we have to the right here, we have additional instructions. Just in case if you want to add anything for your guys, we cover, you can enter those instructions and they can read them before they actually go to sterilize things. Okay, so now we're going to begin a load to send this set through sterilization. So just like before in Decontam, I'm going to take my little training set and I'm going to scan my machine. It has it and it tells me what machine I'm putting it in, its status, the date and time it was last tested, and the user ID of who did that test. I can then select my cycle. We'll say prevac because that's what it wants me to do. If I was going to put in a BI lot number or a PCD test, I could do that here and then track it. And then scan load items. That means my set. I'm going to scan my set in right here. And now my set is added to the load. I can also put in extra information, like from the instructions. I know that the set needs a 270-degree steam temperature, 4-minute exposure time. Dry time's only 8 minutes because of our Stereotype containers. And now with all that done and filled out, I click Submit. It asks me if I'm sure. I say yes. And now it has begun the load. These are loads from other demos that I was running. And this is ours down here in the autoclave on the prevac cycle. Here's the start time. Now that sterilizer is going to do its thing, run through its cycle. And once it's done, I click the End Load button to go to the End Load page. It shows me all the information that I entered on the previous page and my sets. And then I can click End Load right here. If I was going to record the results from the BI or the BCD, I would go into Test Sterilizer right here, and then I could fill out information from this page, including the load number, so I could associate that test directly with that set forever, and also the quantity of items in this. So it's very great. CaseTrak360 lets you track everything. So now with that done, I'm going to click End Load. Am I sure? I am. And now that load has been ended, it's gone. And back on our sterilization queue, the set is gone because it's been through sterilization and now it's on its way to storage or however your facility chooses to organize itself. I'm going to keep going through the 360 cycle and go to our storage module next. So now it's my set here has just come out of the sterilizer. It's squeaky clean, and now I am going to store it. So here is my storage module. It's the inventory module of CaseTrak360. All I have to do is take my little scanner and scan it in, and here it is up here on the top. We have this other major basic set in here from a previous demo. So now I have my major basic set in here, and I could do one of two things. If my storage queue is light and there's not a lot of things going on in here, I could click the checkbox, click Transfer to tell CaseTrak360 that I've brought this major basic set to its home. And its home is spelled out right here. So I know that I need to put this major basic set in room 201 in cabinet 4 on shelf 2 and on bin 2. You're probably not going to store sets in bins, just showing you how granular that CaseTrak can get with its storage. You would store instruments in bins on shelves. So anyway, it tracks it. If more than likely you're just going to be using room, cabinet, and shelf. So you can fill in whatever you want, leave blank, whatever you want. It'll work all the same. So I can either click this and click Transfer quickly, or if my queue is full of items that have to go into storage, I can either use a wireless handheld scanner to walk to this storage location and then scan it, or I can have my little flip book on my desk of scannable barcodes for storage locations. And if I go to Scan Location and then scan it, you'll see that CaseTrak360 will automatically select both of these major basic sets because they both live in that same location. What CaseTrak does is if you have a very busy storage queue and you want to know where things go quickly, all you have to do is scan the location. CaseTrak will automatically highlight all of those instruments and sets that are supposed to go into this location, so that way you can just scoop them all up at once and save yourself trips, and also save man hours to keep track of your inventory. So I'm going to uncheck this major basic set, and I'm going to just leave the one that we scanned in selected, and I'm going to click Transfer, and now it's gone. So here's the major basic set that was in here when we started. and the other one is now in storage. And in fact, if we go to locate set, here is our major basic set. We see that it's back in storage and the status is in storage. And we also have the date and time that happened and the user who did it. I'm demo user, but you would have actual names and usernames attached to this information. And that's pretty much it for our storage module. Now we're going to move on to the operating room and the case cart staging modules. Before we do that, actually, I want to take a minute to look at pretty much the hub of detailed information about sets and items in our system. That's our 360 dashboard. If you click into it, initially it'll appear blank, and you can use this search box to search through and pick out any set in your entire system. Here's our major basic set down here. Again, for demo purposes, this list is very light. If I click View, it pulls up everything. I can view my decontam instructions or my assembly instructions. I can view the entire content sheet. I can view all of the instances of this set and their status in the system and where they are. Here's the location where it lives. Here's how many total sets we have. If this was a loaner, which it isn't, which is why it's blank, if it was a loaner, that information would show up here. If in Prep and Pack they tagged any items as needing to go out for repair, those repair items would show up here as well. And myself as a manager, I can then go in and track the status of each of those items. Or I can hit Add Item right here. Here is the content sheet of that set, and I could add any item that I want if, you know, I'm going through my QC checks and I go, oh man, this Halstead mosquito clamp is it's supposed to be curved, but it straightened itself out because it got bent. I could then add that to go out to attempt to get fixed, and I could track that entire process. This is a really great tool, and you can get to it from almost every page, and you can use it to really get a handle on detailed information about your sets and items. So now, let's continue and let's go through our case cart staging and operating room modules. That starts in our administrator menu. And here's our OR schedule. I'll click View Full to expand it. Right now, I have one surgery scheduled for the purposes of this demo. It's an open cholecystectomy. Someone's getting their gallbladder taken out. And surprise, it features our major basic set. Just only one. Again, all of this information is fake for the purposes of our demo. I could view the preference card and see exactly where everything lives. I can edit things, like where it's going to happen, the surgeon. I can add or subtract instruments. Or if it gets canceled, I'll just get rid of it. And obviously, once the surgery happens and gets completed, it'll be automatically removed from this list. So now that we have something in our schedule here, what that's going to do is, based on the preference card that's selected for the surgery, it's going to send all of that information to case cart staging. And if we open our case cart staging queue, all of the scheduled cases, they would show up here. So your techs in the SBD can go through and pick everything. I'm going to click Pick as if I'm going to pick this case, and here is our pick list. Now, again, this is a demo, so the only thing here is our major basic set. So it tells me exactly where it lives, so I can go and get it. And if there's any items like, I don't know, sponges, towels, or any other mobile equipment, that would show up in the item section here. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I have my case cart, and I'm going to scan my case cart to associate even the case cart with this procedure. So from a reporting perspective, I can come back and see not only which set was used in this procedure, but which case cart it arrived to the operating room in, including the person who did it. So I have my case cart in to this procedure, so looks like I need my major basic set. Oh, it lives in the sterile storage room, room 201, cabinet 4, shelf 2, bin 1. I'm going to go and get it. I have it. I'm going to come on back. And to tell the system that I have it, I have to scan in its ID. So they can't obviously say that it's picked when it's not. It actually has to read it. So I'm going to scan it. And whoops, there it goes. That was just a general pop-up that we have as we build this out. So anyway, so I've scanned the ID, it's loaded it in, and look, it's changed to pick. Now, just like in Prep and Pack, there's also a missing section with a disposition drop-down if I choose to click it. So let's say there's a bunch of sets needed for this this procedure. Some are absolutely critical, and some you can get started without them. So this disposition dropdown would allow you to say it's missing, but it's not critical, or it's missing and it is critical, and we got to find it before I can mark this case as picked. And other options similar to how they appear in Prep and Pack, so you as a manager know exactly what's going on with your techs and the items and sets in your facility. So, but let's say for this procedure, I'm done. I have all my sets and items scanned in here. The items appear here. Again, for the purposes of this demo, it's blank. And now this case is picked. So I'm going to click, mark the case as picked. And what that does is now it says the case has been picked, and it shows up on our picked case queue. Here it is. So here it has the case ID, the case cart ID that is holding all of our things, the procedure, the surgeon, and the operating room where it's supposed to happen in, the scheduled date, scheduled time of that procedure, and the OR room again. So if I am a case cart staging employee, or I'm working in the SPD and I've just picked this, I then wheel the case cart to the operating room. When it gets there, I click done, and then the system gets updated to say and locate set. Okay, this open cholecystectomy, pardon me, has been picked. The sets and items are waiting in the operating room. I won't click done now though, because I want to show you a cool feature of CaseTrak360 in the OR module. So now we're going to go to the operating room module. So in the OR room, this would be every OR at your facility. You can easily add and subtract them from the admin menu. Let's go to the OR schedule in a new window to see what's next. Oh, we have our open cholecystectomy is coming up next. The case ID is 6. This would obviously be a much more complicated number as your facility goes through cases. Here's the date and time it's scheduled. Here's the surgeon, and here's everything else. So now let's go back. Operating room 1, we are having a procedure here. So I'm going to enter in my case ID, which is 6, the procedure, open cholecystectomy. Surgeon is Samuel. What that does is this associates this procedure with the case ID and the surgeon and the operating room, so you can see exactly what happened. But let's say, oh no, wait a second. I don't have my sets and items. I'm expecting to have my major basic set, but it's not here. What do I do? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can go from the OR module, you can go to the pick case queue and say, oh, here it is. It's picked. They just didn't wheel it up yet. I'm gonna go and get it. So I don't have to push this procedure back, because 1 minute of operating room time is worth like $140 or possibly more, depending on how busy you are. And then once I wheel it back up, I can say, done. And now, like I was saying before, it'll say that everything has been delivered. Then I can take my scanner and scan things in. But if it's not there, I can open the staging queue, which is where we just were, to see if it has or hasn't been picked yet. So if I see that it's still in the staging queue and they're still picking it, I could pick up my phone and say, hey, hurry up, because we really need it for this procedure that's happening in like 20 minutes. Or if it's not here and I really need these items like right now, I could open my OR schedule, view the preference card, which shows me every set or item in that procedure and where they live, and oh, by the way, it links to the OR dashboard, so I can look for that set that I need and find out where all of its twins are. So I can go and run and get it and keep the operation moving forward. So there's so this will really cut down on any and all delays, and it'll really increase how well your operating room functions. It's a really powerful feature in CaseTrak360. And oh, by the way, here's the set that we just have. It says that it just finished coming out of case cart staging, so I know that this is at the operating room. So let's go back. Now we're in the operating room. Here is my major basic set, and I'm going to scan it in. and boop, scan. So now my major basic set and any other items that I would scan is now in this procedure, and everything has been associated. So if I were to go back to look through my reports as an SPD manager, I could see the entire journey that this set took to get to this moment. I could see what machines it went through in decontam and who cleaned it, which tech packed it, if any items are missing. I could see how it was sterilized, by who, by which machine. I could see the results of the BI if this had an implant, and it had that. I could see its journey through the inventory system and through case cart staging, who physically picked it up, put it on the case cart, and wheeled it here. All of that is tracked, which is incredibly powerful for not only inventory control, but also for infection prevention and response, which is a very powerful feature. So you can see exactly what's going on everywhere that it's happening. Now it has arrived in the operating room. It's going to be used. This is the OR bypass module. The OR count button is here just for this demo. If this was the full OR module, I could then click this to open up, open and close body counts for all the instruments in here, similar to prep and pack, but with extra warnings if you're missing instruments at the end of the procedure. God forbid they were ever left in the patient. But this is just the bypass module, because again, we know that a lot of ORs have their own systems. They don't want to be bothered with extra things. This can be used by either them or your SPD to just be like, yep, this set's there. I know that this set is in the OR, and that's done. So then we hit return. It takes us to the OR return page after the procedure is done. Now you're cleaning up after the procedure is over. You're going to put it in a dirty case cart or put it in a dumbwaiter and send it back down to the SPD. For each set-in item, there's a transfer to menu. So you could talk about the disposition. Is it going to decontamination? Most likely, because it's been used. Was it never even opened, at which point you can return it to inventory? Is it going back to OR storage, which is just a different flavor of storage if it wasn't used? Or is it a single-use item like a towel and you're going to discard it? So this set has been used. I'm going to say decontamination. I'm going to click transfer. I am ready to transfer it. And now it's done. So now this whole thing is over. The cycle is complete. This set is now on its merry way back to decontam to start all over again. And oh, by the way, in locate set, here it is. And it's been used in operating room 1, and it's on its way back to decontamination. So that's pretty much it. That's all we're going to get into today. Obviously, I could talk about this system for hours. I'm gonna, spare all of you guys that. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can use the chat to the right of this video window, or you can send us emails through the contact forum on this website. I do have one more slide. Let me just get out of here. And now we can talk about where do we, whoops, I said from the beginning. Display settings, swap. Okay. All right, next step. So if you guys would like, you're all invited to complete the ROI. We have a very nice cost benefit built right into our CaseTrak360 website that you can use. You could fill it out, and you could see exactly how much CaseTrak360 is going to save your facility. I would say that first and foremost, just because of how much it smooths everything out, CaseTrak360 will almost certainly pay for itself within a matter of months or less. I mean, just saving time on operating room holdups alone. I mean, on average, operating rooms are like $120 a minute. And let's say you have to push a surgery back for an hour or two because you're running around trying to find a set. That's all done now. So even if it saves you like 10 minutes out of, starting or turning over an OR, that's still like a solid grand that you don't have to worry about. We can also assess your needs. There's tools on our website to do it, or you can email myself or my colleague Cody Croker. He's our outreach guy for CaseTrak360. You could just reply to the email invites that you were sent. Next, if you want to talk about it, we can review your hardware and your installation needs. We will happily recommend everything that you need to buy. We'll tell you what to buy, where to put it, how to plug it in. We'll work with your IT department to make that happen. Generally speaking, your IT department's not going to have to worry about this at all. It's a very, very low effort program on your guys' part. And if you do choose to move forward, we'll upload all of your count sheets and preference cards into a server just for you. We'll conduct your training and follow our implementation plan and then go with support. So just going back to our website here, CaseTrak360.com, just to show you some things really quick before we wrap up. If you want to complete the ROI, that's right here under information. A lot of great stuff here under information. You can click this. I also encourage all of you, because you're already on the website right now, to go through all of our menus. You can see how CaseTrak360 will interact with all of your departments. You could browse its features. We have a blog that we run, a contact forum, so you can reach out to us, and you can generally read through all of our information that we have on hand for you all. So that is pretty much it. I guess I'll hang out to see if anybody wants to use the chat at the right. You've got to be signed into your Google account. I think for the next demo we might go with something a little more informal. But that's pretty much it. So I'll hang out. But otherwise, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It's absolutely my pleasure to present this program to you. We had a lot of attendance. That's really great. We had like 25 to 30 people in here at any given time. I'm looking at my analytics right now. A bunch of our guys are watching this too, so this is really, really great. That's pretty much it. So, not seeing any questions, so I guess going forward, reply to your email invites if you have any questions, or if you want to schedule a one-on-one demo with me. If this wasn't enough and you want more, that is fine. You can email me. You can email Cody. We will, or our contract manager Ben Fernandez. I'm sure for a lot of you that we're in contact with, I'm sure that you've heard from him once or twice. And we'll be happy to set up a one-on-one demo, and I'll walk through everything with you one by one for more detailed info. You can also request a demo video that I've done before that shows everything going through the cycle. And that is pretty much it. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, and have a great day and have a great weekend.